burnout is, like I said, the screening of the comments is a big cause of burnout. If you're new to this beat, or you're an ENFP personality type like I am, where you absorb emotions and take things in, and it eats you from the inside, screening comments is tough, and I really have to steel myself emotionally and mentally sometimes to even log on and go through the comments, and then there are some days when I just can't do it. So that really does wear at you. So you have to really steel yourself for that, especially if you do put yourself out there, put a first-person personal approach on your blog. You will be attacked, and you just need to be prepared for that and just not take it personally. So I'm learning. But like I said before, blogging is really a very different ethos. Not only are you writing and reporting these entries, you're also marketing and networking these entries. And what I mean by that is I resisted Facebook for the longest time, and I finally opened a Facebook account for purposes of reporting, where I could go and nose around at other pages. But now I have to sit down and devote a day to building my Facebook page. I hate that, but I have to do it, and it's because it's key to the success of the blog. It's another way to drive traffic to the blog. What I have devoted some time to experimenting with is Digg. How many of you are familiar with Digg? D-I-G-G. I've really gotten into that. I've put my picture and my blog description up there, and I bookmark or shout religion-type articles. I submit articles. I make friends. It can take all day if you let it. So, but that is a very key. I've noticed that anytime one of my blog entries is submitted to Digg, I try not to do it myself. I kind of think it's arrogant, but I'm trying to get over that as well. So many things I'm trying to get over to get this done. But every time a blog entry is submitted to Digg, hit the roof. I mean, it drives traffic to the blog, and that's really what you're trying to do. Or it's what your company is trying to do, and you want readers, and it's really largely, at least at the Tribune, up to me to do that. So Facebook, Digg, any of those social networking sites, it's good to kind of spread your blog seed out there and let it prosper. You also want to link liberally to others. You want to build in as many links as possible into your blog, and that can be linking to primary resources, other websites, other bloggers. You want to befriend other bloggers. Build relationships. Isn't that the key to reporting, especially on this beat? It's the key to blogging too, except it's electronic relationships, and you want to build as many channels as possible for people to find the blog. So you want to link liberally to others, and there's a little bit of this is really up to you. Some people have said you should be very transparent about your biases, or at least transparent about your struggle with your biases, or how you balance. Again, I hide behind the question, and so I'm not too transparent myself, but that's a discussion, again, that you want to have in your own head or have with your editor. So, but you definitely want to write what you know, and think of it as a conversation with readers, and engage them in that conversation. This is one of my weaknesses, but I know it helps. Again, I'm kind of giving you best practices here, not exactly what I do every day. But engaging them in the comment section, when those comments start flooding in, it's really a good practice to get into, to engage them in conversation and respond to those comments and have a back and forth. Again, very time consuming, but I think it's definitely worth it. I occasionally do it on some blogs that I have something to add to the conversation, or if I feel like it needs to be reined in a little bit, people needed to be reminded of their manners. Sometimes I weigh in then. You also want to make your blog as user-friendly as possible. That means categorizing your entries, and just lately I've given my blog a little bit of a facelift where it's easier for people to find certain categories. I also have done some one-time, and I'm building some one-time features. I started recently a Sermon of the Week, which basically requires a couple of phone calls each week to line up a church or a synagogue or a mosque or a temple who takes video or audio recordings of their sermons over the weekend. I've figure out a way for them to get that to me. I put it up on the website, boom, there's my Monday entry. I can actually work on a story. And people actually do love it. I mean, it's getting some traffic. So, and it's easy. So you kind of developing those easy entries and easy features for people that'll engage readers, that's important to think of as well. And giving them an easy portal to get to it, and not letting it be buried on the blog. I also have done, the other feature that I started recently was etiquette questions, religious etiquette. What do you do when you're in a Catholic church and everyone gets up for communion? Can I take communion too? And it requires one phone call. Hey, what is your advice? I've slapped together an entry, and it's an easy one. So, and these easy entries, again, high traffic, but they don't require a whole lot of reporting, and it can really help you knock out your blog obligations, and especially if you're working on a really in-depth story. Let's see, I've been given the time signal, so let me just go to key things. My top blog entries. This is another, it was originally a frustration, but I'm trying to let it be a positive, and a lesson. My top blog entries, do you remember Dana Jacobson, the ESPN anchor who shouted and directed an expletive toward Touchdown Jesus, the Notre Dame? Yeah, top blog entry ever. People just love that. And the Satanist, I wrote about a Satanist and his custody battle for his children. That got a lot of hits, and as well as the Tom Cruise video on Scientology. Huge, very popular entry. This is very frustrating for me sometimes, especially when I put in a lot of work into what I consider a really meaty, interesting, fascinating entry, and it gets absolutely zero comments, and I slap Dana Jacobson up there, and she gets a zillion. So it's a balance. You have to figure out, it's a give and take, and not all of your blog entries are going to be popular, and some that you wish weren't will be, but you just have to mix it up and have fun. That's the key, is just try to have fun.